Hot stuff coming through. I am also on fire. Hello and welcome to the 5th installment of the Lone Wolf Adventures. I am your guide, UHM Alpha Wolf. Thank you so much for being here. Today we are going to be doing the mission, The Up and Up. It is a post-main storyline mission for the Curse of Osiris DLC, in which you have to go back to Mercury and disrupt a Vex simulation. This specific one is with the Fallen, but there are two others you could do, one with the Cabal and one with the Hive. I elected to do the Fallen one for this episode because I've already did multiple episodes in the series where I have made fun out of the Cabal and don't want to beat that dead horse just yet. And the Savathun Song Strike will be coming up soon in the series, so didn't want to do two Hive videos too close together. I haven't featured the Fallen since the series premiere, so I figured it was their turn in the rotation. I am also excited because in this video I will be able to use the Sweet Business Auto Rifle, a gun that I have been trying so hard to get and finally was able to buy off of Zur the weekend before the Curse of Osiris DLC was released. Now I know back in mid to late October, I believe it was, Zur was selling it, but at my own fault, I was playing NHL 18 that week and was way too addicted to that game to even bother to look and see what Zur was selling, and I missed out on that opportunity. So I only have myself to blame, but on that same topic, if you want to say that the grind in Destiny 2 is over, I humbly beg to differ. I tried so hard to get it through exotic engrams and just could not. Whenever I would get one, it was either Titan leg armor or the Graviton Lance. So when I was finally able to get it, I pounced all over it and I used it through most of the Curse of Osiris DLC. With one of the exceptions being the Panopsis boss fight from episode 3, where I went back to my comfort zone of using the Mida multi-tool, since I did go into that level thinking it was going to be a lot harder than it actually was, and I wanted to have some familiarity with my weapon and something I knew I could use well. And if you have been paying attention so far to the gameplay here, I am playing a little safe. I will admit this was the first of the 3 missions I did for these missions that you could do after the main story, and I was a little hesitant to go in 2 guns blazing. I know, a little ironic, especially after episode 4 I was saying how I feel indestructible with the Titan and how I will just jump right into stuff and eat all the damage. But I also didn't want to do something stupid like jump right in and find myself getting killed before whoever I was working with on the comms could even finish setting up the premise of the mission. So for the most part in this particular episode, I was bringing out the Sweet Business as a precautionary idea in case I turned the corner and ran into a bunch of enemies. And it doesn't get too much use till closer to the end, but I love it nonetheless. It is essentially a minigun, which I feel Destiny was long overdue to add. I have always loved miniguns from my time playing the Fallout series, so when I was playing the beta and got it during the one run-through as the Titan, I was stoked to see we were finally going to get a minigun added in here. I feel it was long overdue. I do feel it should probably be a heavy weapon, though. I do feel it is a little broken to have as a primary or the kinetic weapon, especially with how they were trying to balance out the PvP going into Destiny 2. But that really doesn't bother me too much because I do not play the PvP unless it is the daily challenge during faction rallies, because I am admittedly very bad at the Crucible and Destiny's PvP as a whole. So rather than be the guy who costs the team a chance to win and gets all the hate mail, I just stay the hell away from it and enjoy playing the PvE aspect of the game. I can do that for hours on end and enjoy it, so I don't feel I need to go up against anyone. If I want to go and play PvP in some game, I will do Modern Warfare Remastered, thank you very much. But I am sure the Sweet Business will have a nerf on the horizon, because if it is one thing we have seen, when enough people are upset about a gun, which I have seen both that and Mida Multi-Tool get a lot of hate on either Bungie.net forums or the Destiny Facebook page, I'm sure they will do something to Sweet Business, either add some recoil to it or reduce its damage output. But until that happens, I am going to continue to use the hell out of it. So, back to the mission here. It looks like I finally got my Sniper Shanks and Sniper Dregs that I was looking for back in episode 3. So apparently asking you shall receive. But I counter with the Tone Patrol Scout Rifle. In Mida Multi-Tool it is not, but I can only use one exotic in the kinetic weapon slot, and I chose to go with the Sweet Business I had so badly been wanting. Tone Patrol isn't a bad replacement, though. It does a little less damage output, and its rate of fire is just a hair slower with a magazine size that is 1 round smaller. but nothing that you can't make up for with a nice little minigun in your kinetic weapon slot. Moving on here, we are almost finally through the never-ending endless forest, and now we're getting a mixture of Vex and Fallen on the same levels here, and this has just been brutal. I really, at this point, was just getting sick of it because you'd already done this so many times throughout the Curse of Osiris story mode, and just overall just get really tired of how they really kind of mailed this one in. I mean, just doing the same levels over and over. I mean, if we thought Vanilla 1 Destiny was bad, I mean, this is the DLC that comes out after the Vanilla Destiny 2. But, I mean, it's not going to stop me from playing it. I am a Bungie fanboy. I will be there. I just feel I have to complain. But now I will sit here and use the Scout Rifle to its full advantage and just long range. If I don't got to jump down and get dirty with a bunch of Vex that are shooting giant Void Blasts, I sure as hell will not. Also, knowing I was getting close to the end, I knew that in other story missions, you had the Cyclopses on the steps right before you get to whatever objective you had been going through the forest for. So even though I know you can't progress without opening those doors like I just did there, it doesn't stop the Cyclops from shooting their blasts around and killing you. So here I am, I finally got through that tedious bullshit, and I'm on my way towards the actual Vex simulation. Segura and Osiris are filling me in on the specifics of why they can't be doing this themselves, giving me some half-baked excuse. But hey, that's the whole premise of Destiny. Everyone just finds their favorite guardian and pawns the work off on them. Early on here, they claim you are on a time limit, but I will tell you right now, you are not. I even pull up my ghost just to make sure that it isn't pointing me towards where something that would indicate a time limit is. So I think it's just something to make you feel that the Vex are timing you, but you really do not have to rush. You can take your sweet time. That's exactly what I did, and as you'll see, I am in absolutely no hurry as I progress here. I'm actually probably being more safer than I was when I was going through the Endless Forest, since I knew this is the bulk of the mission here. This is what they had been hyping you up for. This is the Fallen simulation that the Vex are running. So I wanted to take my time, make sure I didn't turn around and run into some giant shank, or a captain, or a whole slew of sniping vandals or sniping shanks. And like I said, there's no time limit, so I figured if it's not really timing me, why rush if I don't have to? I seriously have nothing better to do. So, I mean, there aren't too many bad guys here. You will come into them, you know, a couple at a time. It's now pointing out some of the villains I have to kill in order to progress. They're the ones that have the orange health bar. I just take a sword to them because I am not going to sit there and deal with them dancing, dodging, ducking, weaving. I am just going to go take my sword out, and the sword cleans up everything very nicely. However, I could do without the upcoming series of Vex jumping puzzles, which if you are returning from Destiny 1, you know when the Vex are involved, sooner or later a jumping puzzle is on the horizon. If you are new, these blocks that just formed here will not be there for long, as indicated when a second set of blocks will show up. That is part of the premise to the Vex. Stuff of theirs fades in and out of time. Now you might be wondering, why didn't Bungie tell us that somewhere along the line? Well, that's because Bungie has a sick sense of humor and feels that it is funny to watch players try to figure stuff out through sheer trial and error and not include this stuff in the game. Sure, once in a while they throw us peasants a bone, but that is usually not the case. In the meantime, I am finishing up platform number 1 here. It's pretty much just a bunch of basic dregs, so nothing too hard. But in Destiny, things tend to come in sets of 3s, so platform 1 is done. On to platform number 2 through yet another jumping puzzle. The jumping puzzle is still pretty simple. It is still showing up side by side, but the enemies are getting a little harder. We actually have some captains up here, so I'm just going to go Fist of Havoc since I saw rockets flying. I am not wanting any part of that because I am not always the most graceful person when dealing with platforms and have in more than one instance walked right off the edge, not even provoked, just simply walking around, not realize I am right by the edge, and then down I go. Moving on to the third jumping puzzle, they are now showing up in a crisscross pattern, still nothing too hard. Once again, you just got to keep an eye on when stuff is forming and know that the ones that are new are going to force the older ones out of existence. Platform number 3, we have Dregs, Shanks, and a Servitor. I am actually kind of happy to see the Servitor because I can finally sit there and say I am going to give someone the sweet business as I first unnecessarily reload. It is a horrible habit I have of constantly pushing the X button to reload, and I just effortlessly saw right through that Servitor. It was absolutely no problem at all, just furthering why I absolutely love the sweet business. So this platform is done, and it is one more set of blocks. These ones will not fade out of existence, though, as it is not a jumping puzzle, because now we go meet the captain at the head of the simulation and take him down and claim our loot, where we run into a welcoming party of Dregs, Vandals, and Shanks. I was actually kind of surprised that the captain wasn't right at the edge there to meet you, maybe try to find a way to push you off the edge. But seeing as how this wasn't spawning restricted, Bungie probably just figured it wasn't worth spawning him there since you would just resurrect right away anyways. Or if the captain does drop you, probably spawns you back there as a safe space. We did have that one exploding Shank, which seemed to be glitched because it was just kind of minding its own business, not even heading towards me. But anytime I don't have to hear that beeping getting right up in my face through my headset, I will take it. So, we have reached the area by the captain, but I am kind of going to just let him stay in the background for now. Keep an eye on his rockets, but work more on the ads around him because I plan to go full sword on the captain, but while I go after him with the sword, I don't want to risk Dregs and Vandals unleashing on me and helping him drop me at close range with the rockets. But the ads are down, the sword is out, it is time to finish this guy off as I drop back to pick up some extra heavy ammo for a little bit of insurance. And we just bash him in the face a couple more times and down he goes. The loot will show up, and you know what that means. That means that episode 5 of the Lone Wolf Adventures is coming to a close. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe, and until next time, this has been UHM Alpha Wolf. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.